Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'm guessing all of you are in different time zones, so I'm going to embrace all time zones right now. This is Epic Sunny. Welcome to Analyst on Demand. Nice to have you. Feel welcome. Um, okay, I'm not sure what your rituals are before you start trading, but I'd like in my sessions just as soon as we start, before we get to charts, just to spend a couple minutes getting into the right mindset, knowing the objectives of the day, knowing what we want to achieve, have our goals, and a few questions. Do you have your trader's constitution next to you? Have you read it? Are you willing to say that I'm going to oblige to it today? I'm definitely going to do my constitutional, what I put down in there. Um, and how important that is for me, you know, what I'd like to achieve for the day, and be excited about it, making sure that we're going to have fun. Now, how I'm going to structure the session today is to make sure that we do have a little bit of this time where we're reflecting and sort of getting our head around what we want to do, what we want to achieve, but also moving forward that we're going to analyze some charts. We're hopefully going to get some opportunities to get into the market. And then we we close the session. Today we're going to look at a few of the euro pairs, the euro crosses. Um, and then if there is some time, we'll look into some of the GBP session, the GBP crosses, which would be quite excellent. Um, the objective when we're going through charts is I will be asking you a lot of questions. And the purpose of the questions is so it'll get you thinking. It has to be interactive, or else there'll be no learning. You'll just be listening to me talk at you all the time, which is, I'm happy to do it. I can be a bit of a talker sometimes, but it'll be more useful for you if you're thinking as you're doing. It's not mindlessly me talking at you. It'll be you giving me the solutions, you helping me make the decisions, or we make the decisions together on the best trades to get into potential. Okay, and why? Always the good questions. Why? We'll also be looking at money management, because I think you know the amount of stresses that we'll all encounter is how well we manage our money when we actually get into a trade. So we'll go through that whilst we're trading. Excellent. As you can see up on the screen, I have one of the chiefs, and I hope that all of you do go to mentorship. Um, Something that the chief always puts up on there. It says, successive trading is my duty. Successive trading is my obligation. Successive trading is my responsibility. It's the greatest gift I can give to myself and my family. How powerful is that? If you know that trading means this much to you, you'll definitely work hard to make sure you're getting there. uh, Definitely. Okay, now we're going to move on to the charts. Enough of me babbling on. Excellent. So we're going to move on to the euro pairs. Now, what I've done is set them up as pages. So each page will have 4 charts. Um, and just to we don't have confusion, just run down the charts. If you have a preference before that's not a euro pair, we can look at it again at a later session. For now, if we can run through these quite quickly, then we can then in the next sort of half hour, we can you can give me a call out chart and we'll have a look at those or some of the issues that you're encountering with your analysis. Excellent. Okay, let's go on to the Euro Aussie. Great. All right. So what I like to do, I think it's always a good uh, way to analyze charts, and um, because this is Eucharist, I haven't actually removed the mastery system on there. I haven't actually moved it, so apologies. All right. So actually, let's just take it off now. That'll probably be useful. Close. Delete. Excellent. So we're looking at a monthly chart. Now, if you compress the chart, you know, it says it goes back to 1997. All right, you can see that majority of the Euro Aussie is in range. And kind of, I've kind of put in a hand-drawn pivot um, where you could see consistently where the markets interacted with this line several occasions. Okay, and now you can see here that it's gone through and then pulled back and again interacted with this with this pivot line, and it's near but not completely at. It's near a 382 retracement. Um, let's see, hold on. Yeah, that's more correct. There we go. There we go. That's more correct. There we go. Awesome. All right, and you can see here that it's interacted with that line. Um, again, it's a shallow bounce, but because it's that pivot point, um, and yeah, it's gone back into, it's gone down to these levels of resistance. It's pulled back, again hit that pivot point, and it's seemingly heading down. Okay, now what I've done is I've drawn a outer trend line from here and an inner trend line, and you can see here that it's broken that inner trend line. So if you look, if you zoom in, can you highlight what candlestick formation you could see right here? Right here. Yeah. If you know, have a look on your chart, it looks a bit like a um, morning star. So yes, it's not the perfect, but it's not an ideal morning star, but it is quite close. It is very much so a morning star. And if you're not sure, again, pull up your your cheat sheet in your manual, and that should be able to highlight it. Um, can you tell me how often the market goes and tests the candlestick formation? Ah, can you? Ah, that'd be great if you can. Yep, it is. Yeah, it's 50% of the time. So it hasn't actually tested this candlestick formation, has gone back a little bit, but you can see here it looks like it's going down. And once it's broken this outer trend line, the likeliness is that it might do something like this. It might just, oops, there it goes, take off the magnet. It might go down a little bit, oops, and then pull back up. To test potential, but more than likely, what does the market tend to do after it's broken and in a trend line? Generally goes to the outer trend line. So yeah, ooh, just be mindful of that. Ooh, doesn't want to go away. There we go. And last one. Great. All right. All right. So let's look at the weekly chart. Excellent. Now what I've done is, if you compress the chart, it has come down, come back, came down almost near the D, but didn't actually touch the D, shot back up aggressively, came back and came through and got to your 382 bounce. Now it's pushing back down. It's broken this trend line. You can see a head and shoulders. Let's just zoom in so you can see it. And you can see the head and shoulders here. There we go. Oops. Left tip. Oops. Let's take out the extension. Left tip. Alright, center tip. Right tip. And fall. Alright. So you do see that there. You're expecting if it goes to the uh, if it goes to the breaks through the inner trend line, it would come down to the outer trend line more often than not. So just be mindful of that. What I've done now is started to draw down ABCD fibs. As you can see here, it actually hasn't hit the D yet, so it still has some space to go down. What I also tend to do, again, is just to draw a quick little trend line, so we know uh, uh, where the boundaries are for it. So if it does go up a little bit, it might just come back and test this. If that makes any sense. Any questions so far? All right. All right. So we knew we're seeing a little bit of a trend at the moment. The euro is going down. Oops, I haven't actually taken out the mastery on here. Let's just do this now whilst I'm here. Close. There we go. There we go. Just take it off. Great. Okay. So I think for the remainder of this, I'll leave the charting software on, but only because it's not a live session. So I will have them out before the live session, but I'll just hit it whilst we're there. Okay, let's just move on to a day chart. Okay, we can see if you compress it, we're looking at that downtrend. What you need to get into your mind is the picture, the important picture of what you're wanting, what you're seeing, and that it makes sense. And that's the important thing of trading, is making sure that it makes sense to you. The reason you look at the bigger charts, it's almost like you're using a magnifying glass and you're zooming and you're zooming and you're zooming. So you know that you don't necessarily need to look at the uptrend just yet, but you want to focus on the downtrend. So let's look at the downtrend because we're knowing that's the direction that we're looking to trade in. You can see the market has formed an AB, C pullback at just above a 5.0. So let's see that. 618, and that it's due to come down to the 1618. So you know that there's still some potential for bearish moves. So what we're doing again is moving down to a smaller time frame. So we still have a couple hundred pips that we can potentially capture. So let's just have a quick look, and here we go. The Euro Aussie. We're looking at that downtrend. Okay, so let's take all of these off so it doesn't confuse you. Delete. Oops, did I do delete all? Awesome. Delete all. Great. All right, so I tend to just take a couple lines just to gauge myself when I'm doing it. Makes it easier. I'm a very visual person, so if it makes any sense, I will work on being visual as much as possible. I think it's useful. Okay, we're going to use the bigger swings generally, but here is we're looking at your ABCDs: A to B, C to D, A to B, C to D. Yeah, I don't think that one hit. Yep. A to B, C to. I'm not sure this one touched. So let's go here. Let's just double check just to make sure. So it's this one. There we go. Alright, what I like doing, and I think it's really good practice, and I do suggest that you do it. Oops. I do suggest that you do it. It's just to mark your ABCs when you've done them. It makes it easier, takes the pressure off, Um, and if you delete all your